sense the full power of the dark side. Good!
We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
What the? Misa back!
Prepare to fire!
Oh no! Hello, and welcome back to Star Wars Beyond the Stars for episode number 8, recorded on Monday, October 6th, 2014. I'm your host, Fred, aka Sith Lord Corv. And joining me is my good pal, Agent Olan.
Hello, Fred. Thank you for the intro. Hello, everyone on Twitch. Hello, YouTube. What's going on? Greetings from Imperial Intelligence.
And also joining us is our volunteer captain, who doesn't get paid at all, Paige, a.k.a. Captain Kimbray.
I will take my payment in your blood.
Okay, is that something about Halloween coming up, maybe?
No.
Is Halloween in Star Wars Wookiee Death Day?
Ghosting Ewoks Day? I don't know.
El Dia de los Wookiee.
ID10T's here as well. And Treek, who decided not to jump with that foolish SIS agent last week.
Me too.
Aw, Treek actually did something right.
That's right. She deserves a Treeky snack.
Noopa.
Go take one of those burnt pigs out of the oven.
We have an oven?
Somewhere on this ship. This thing is huge. It's gotta be a galley somewhere.
We have a lot of things on this ship that we're not supposed to have.
Oh, in that case.
Speaking of things we're not supposed to have, we're going to be doing another audio project soon. And if you'd like to get in on it, if you have the ability to record your own voice in high quality and you're willing to send us some audio for the project, shoot us an email to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. And email is the only way to get a hold of us for that. Please do not tweet us. They get lost in the many, many masses of tweets that go flying by on a daily basis. We have a couple other things to mention real quick as well. Check out the latest interview done by Redna on UtiniCast, episode 167. He interviewed Dave Dorman, a fellow SWTOR gamer and legendary Star Wars artist. Red did a great job with that interview, and Dave was wonderful to listen to on there, so I highly recommend checking that out. And also, check out the Bad Feeling Podcast, episode number 34, to hear an interview with Hillary Nicole, the community coordinator for SWTOR. You find out a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes for the community team. And if you'd like us to shout out anything for you, we'd be happy to. Just shoot us an email and let us know what you want us to shout out to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. And we're also available on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. And, as I've said 2 or 3 times by now, you can shoot us an email to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com or tweet us at StarWarsBeyond. We record this show live on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/NoSHTGaming. And Paige, what's coming up in the Captain's Log tonight?
Coming up in the Captain's Log, we have our weekend game. We have some expansion discussion, Agent Olan's intelligence report, where Lou will present the 7th I'm not going to say that right. What is that?
The 7th Alaskan conflict?
It's
It looks
Alsacan.
like-
I know people always said. I always wrote that too when I first started doing this. It's
Because
Alsacan.
when I first looked at it, I was like, Alaskan. I was like, no, that can't be right.
I didn't
So-
even know we had a first conflict in Alaska.
All right, say it again so I won't mess it up.
Alsacan.
Okay.
That's good enough.
And as we continue, we do have something quick to mention. Just want to let our folks know out there, our next recording will be on Monday, the 20th of October. There will not be a show next week due to the Columbus Day holiday here over in the States. It's a federal holiday, so none of us are going to be around, folks. We're taking the day off.
Yeah,
Real life holiday.
It's one of the few days that Lou and I actually get off from our real life jobs, and we choose to spend those with our family.
Right. Friends, oh yeah. We're going to be out in the world, folks.
Where in the world is Luis San Diego?
So moving into the captain's log, what have you been up to over the last week, Paige?
A lot, actually. I'm glad I'm writing this stuff down now because if I didn't, I wouldn't have anything to say here. I finally maxed out Underworld training on my assassin, which is my main. I'm starting to work on treasure hunting now. I do realize those trade skills don't really go together, but I don't care. It's just what I like doing. I'm still working on my companion affection with my assassin. I'm sorry. I'm reading what I wrote, and it's funny to me. I think Ashara is bougie. Does anyone know what that means?
As Lou and I just stare at each other and make faces.
She thinks she's better than she is. She hates everything I try to give her, and I know it's because she's all, oh, I'm Nightside. Whatever, I'm giving you a gift. Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
She slept with my assassin.
Okay. That's disgusting.
Thank you.
Also, Andronicus no longer likes half the gifts I try to give him. I think he's mad because I turned him down. I'm glad he finally took the hint, but I wish he'd take my gifts so we could be the best of friends. Because, let me tell you, my assassin's real friendly. Not really. I played my power tech with Fred Sorcerer. We did the Flashpoint boarding party. From HXI 54, I got the Mercenary Foundry chestplate, which was a nice upgrade for me, because I do tank. We encountered a bit of trouble when we were fighting the Chief Engineer Kells. He just kept raffle stomping us, and what kills me is the solution to our issue was so simple. We must have died like I don't even count. Maybe 15 times before Fred. I'm not a critical thinker. I'm just like, whatever. I'm gonna keep jumping in there and punching this guy in the face and see what happens. Fred, being the critical thinker he is, says, "Hey, let's move to the other side of the room." And yeah, that worked. We moved behind where they all stand before you pull. It's down like 2 steps and tucked back between I don't know if they're power conduits or whatever, but the things that overcharge and cause the big explosion of electricity. I don't know what those are, if those conduits or what. But it's down behind them, so if anyone's doing that, that's the trick to kicking his butt.
I think they're called defibrillators.
Okay. After defeating the Storm Squad, I got a piece called the Unwavering PowerTech's Foundry Helmet and something called I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, if it's Trowel or Troll Tech Interceptor. So I got 3 upgrades from doing that Flashpoint, which was pretty awesome. With the leveling group, I poked Fred over and over again in the arm at the beginning of the video because I was impatient. I was really eager to play, and I was waiting on him. And I also walked my character up to the camera and tried to wave at the audience, but I don't know if he cut that out because he wasn't at his desk at the time. Anyway, I bought my agent the Balmoran Resistance gear because it was the cheap and lazy option. Plus, it was better than the ugly radio-looking thing that went across my character's chest. I don't even know what that is. What is its purpose?
Well, I could tell you one thing that's nice about that is we're actually getting our social rank up, so you can take advantage of the gear sets like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy to have that. it was serious upgrades because a lot of my gear was green or blue or maybe even white. I don't know because I don't pay attention. We did talk about when I was upgrading my character, putting in all these mods and everything, about BioWare introducing something where you could shift-click for multiple stacks of commendation items, either mods or enhancements or whatever. God, I wish they would do that. You can shift-click stack anything else. No? No one else wants that? Okay.
No, I do, God, for the longest time, because, I think, because no one after my character is like, I'm going to buy for all the, the entire set. So if I got 7 pieces of armor, I'm going to buy the same armoring for 7 pieces, so allow me to...
Right!
Instead of going, left, click, left, oh my God, just shift, boom. How many do you want to buy?
7, fool! I got 7 pieces! I need 7 mods!
Or, in my case, since on my Republic Trooper, okay, everyone in Havoc Squad uses the same stats. Same gear, so it's like, you know what? I'm outfitting my entire squad. So I want to buy 30 plus of the same mod, because they can all use it. Nope. Right click. Yes. Right click. Yes. Right click. Yes, I want to buy it. Right click. Yes, I want to buy it. Right click.
And
it gets insane.
Too. You keep having to click yes.
Yeah.
Do you want this? Yeah. I want 7 of them, please, now.
Well, that was kind of a funny thing, is I geared up a companion over the last week, and when I was buying the mods, I gave him a set of oranges pretty much as soon as I got to the fleet, and the armorings and the mods I got for 200 credits or less a piece for greens off the GTN. Mm-hmm. And then when it came to the enhancements, people wanted 2K plus, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Not for a green enhancement. Don't think so. Just a random tangent. Sorry, Paige, go ahead.
That's okay. I expect it. We did go into the droid factory, and there was a lovely heroic area that we are on Balmora. I should have said that. I'm sorry. With the leveling group. Yes, I know.
Sorry.
Quinn. Who coincidentally comes from Balmora.
Indeed. But to be clear, we are on Balmora, so we're going into the droid factory, and there was a heroic area I'd never explored. And who better to go with than Agent Olan and Sith Lord Corv? Better to go alone because I died so much. I'm just kidding. Every time I died, it was my fault. It really
better
was.
To go with would be somebody that can res you.
Well, pretty much every time I died, I was like nowhere near you guys.
Well, there was that one time that a fishing pole would have came in handy.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah,
I got really derpy in there. Every time I died, my body would be in a place where they couldn't get me. So I'd have to run back. And when I run back, I'd get lost in the heroic area and just die somewhere else. But eventually I did find them again, but then I died again. And you can see that in the video. The death I'm talking about right now, probably the most amusing death for everyone, was when I fell down the biggest and most concealed hole I've ever seen in my life.
Concealed? Because it was right in front of you.
No, I couldn't. Let me explain. Shut up. Because we were trying to get a better look at what appeared to be a droid in a hot tub of magma. So we see this droid like chilling in this tub, looks like magma, and I'm like, I have to see this up close. I'm walking, and suddenly the floor ends. But there's floor around him. There's just this 2-foot space where you can just fall to your death down this pit of nothingness. I don't even know how to explain. I don't know why that's there.
I think BioWare put it there for the exact reason that it killed you.
I'm still not sure if that was a droid in a hot tub because I never got to see it again. I died, they lived, so if anyone wants to know what that was, you're going to have to ask them.
I'm sure that if the game hadn't been forced out the door in December of 2011, they would have had time to finish the floor.
But in that heroic area, when you approach the droid, the floor just really, it disappears for like 2 feet and then reappears like around his tub. I have a feeling it's intentional, but when you're sprinting and your eyes are glittery because you think you might see a droid in a hot tub, you're not looking down at your feet. So you're going to fall in a hole. Heed my warning.
I wish I had one of those bounty hunter guns just to like shoot you with the cable and pull you back up as you were falling. Or if Lou had that ability to pull people.
Yeah, the extricate ability? Yeah, not yet. Not quite yet.
That would have really helped when we landed on that pipe by the Datacron and she fell 4 times.
I never got that Datacron. You should know that. Because I always fell. I don't know how you guys did it. I'm going to have to start doing that thing where I go, help, and you just push my character forward for me. Because I can't do it.
We'll have to go back and get you all the Datacrons after Lou gets the ability to pull characters to him.
Yeah. That'll come in handy.
And we'll be like, hey, Lou, why don't you ride that balloon for 45 minutes and we'll meet you at the Sandcrawler.
I'd like to, but you know how they said they fixed that glitch where the balloon just, drops you? Yeah.
You know what? That happened to me the very first time I ever rode it. I was on it, and I was dancing with someone who was on there. Don't know this person. When they stopped dancing, they fell through the balloon, and then they whispered to me, they're like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. So I'm standing there, and I'm continuing to dance, and I don't know. I stopped dancing for whatever reason, and then I fall through the balloon. I don't know.
The moral of the story is don't stop dancing till you're over the Sandcrawler.
I was very angry. I don't even want to talk about that. But getting back to my week, somehow through all my derpiness, I managed to ding 22 with the leveling group and also got myself to Legacy 2 on Shadowlands. I missed my Jedi Covenant Legacy. I don't know what it is, but I know it's higher than 2. I think it might be in its 20s. I don't know. I don't really put much thought into it, but let me tell you, there are some things that I want that I'm used to having on Jedi Covenant. And finally, I made a commando on Shadowlands with Fred. I got to level 12. He's playing a gunslinger. I'm going heals because I've never tried that before, and I thought it might be fun. We cleared Ord Mantell and also duoed the Esselis. I'm going dark side, of course, because I hate sounding like Buzz Lightyear and Captain America just had a really ugly baby. And I can't decide whether or not I like Auric yet or not. He's really smug, and I don't know if we're going to be friends or if I'm going to have to like put him in a sack and throw him in a river because he keeps mouthing off to me. Like, does he know who he's talking to?
Yes, but he doesn't care. That's why I never use Auric.
You could put him in a sack and throw him off the edge on Manon, and he'll just fall to his death. No
I don't
water.
know. He's a little too. He's a little too lippy for me.
Lippy? Is that even a word?
Yes. It's a synonym for mouthy. Okay.
No.
Was synonym too big for you? It's another word for.
Hang on, I'm gonna pull out this primitive dictionary.
Oh, Lord. Just stop. Lou, what did you do in game this week while Fred pretends he knows how to read?
What? You get bonus points, Lou, if you can pick out what was ironic about the last couple things she said there.
What, you reading an old-fashioned book? How cool.
No, about our gameplay.
I think I'm going to go into my gameplay next. Anyway.
I'll just take my Metamucil.
Oh,
it's empty.
Oh, God. Anyway.
Found some.
Good. Yeah. All right. Well, so far, slowly but surely rebuilding the credits amongst all my max level characters right now, which has been a slow process as I have a bunch of them. So, I try to keep them all at least in the black with credits, despite all the expenses that keep popping up in game. Like, for example, I did have a few of my Imperial alts send my Bounty Hunter Power Tech credit so she can actually buy mods and stuff for her armor set that I bought with the Bounty Contract Week accommodation. So I bought the entire set of my BH, but my BH pretty much has no money on her. She has money for her level, but not for the amount of money that people want for mods and stuff on the GTN. Okay.
Oh,
So
I thought that was why you're putting all your characters to work so you could afford one set of mods.
yeah, exactly. I mean, at this point, I may even get my Sentinel and Trooper Center money too.
Oh my gosh.
No.
It's horrible. Some of those things, they want like 1 million credits for one piece.
Well, I mean, I would get that if it was really that epic of an artifact, you know. But I'm looking at blues and greens for mods, for enhancements, for armorings, and you have players asking, 30, 40, 50K for a level 24 mod. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh.
And I don't want to hear your excuse, well, you have alts. Like, yeah, I do, but that's not the point. If I was a brand new player, this would be ridiculous. I would just have to just grind out, get commendations, and do that, and go that route.
Well, I mean, Lou, if you need hooked up over on Jedi Covenant, I have a 400 plus of every trade skill. I can hook you up with any mods or anything you need for your low level characters.
Well, again, and that's the other option players have. But which is, thank you, by the way. I may take you up on that.
Yeah, that's not an option open for everybody. Let's back up a minute now.
For all
I
your everything
carefully
needs.
Cultivated my legacy of children, aka slaves, to do all of the work that I need them to do. Not open to the public.
And by the same token, I'm also looking at the G10 for orange gear for Mako, and I'm actually shooting to put her in like the smuggler look. Okay, so I guess pants, the boots, and probably the chest piece that doesn't look like she has a life preserver on, like from Back to the Future. Okay, not that one.
Marty!
Other types of chest pieces that don't look like that. I don't get those chest pieces in the game. Like, why do they give a smuggler a look like that? Like, no.
Just in case his ship ever crash lands on Manon.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, but for SWTOR's cases, we're on a water planet, but the water only goes waist high. But we're in the middle of an ocean. It's waist high, man.
It's like in Robin Hood Men in Tights. You lay down on your side and go, "Help me, I'm drowning! Robin!" Just stand up. You saved me life, Robin.
Exactly.
It's like Fred running out into the lava just to see how deep it is.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's just like the water in the game. It's waist high.
Jerk group mates keep rezzing me in there, and I'm like, I hate you! Hate you!
You don't have to press accept. You can decline,
But pressing accept fuels my hatred.
Good.
Dark side works.
Those aggressive feelings. But back on track. I do have a game wish, though, and this goes back to my power tech. That hopefully sometime after 3.0, I know it's been said a couple times on the forums too, maybe one of these days BioWare will start going back and tweaking the classes, and especially in terms of weapon use, because I personally find it limiting that the bounty hunter can only use a blaster pistol. Okay? And I know I've said this before in the past, but I want to bring this up again because I find it, not limiting, but in a way, it kind of holds you back because I do see a lot of other options out there. Okay, my public trooper, my Vanguard, can use a blaster rifle. Okay, so why not allow my bounty hunter power tech to do the same thing? No, she uses a snub nose, like I call it a snub nose 38 type pistol in the game. So I'd rather like to give her more options.
I'll give you the answer BioWare would. Because.
It's class defining. Really?
No, that was the whole answer, just because.
Because.
Next question.
Because, well, here's the thing. I mean, if the bounty hunter class is supposed to be fashioned after the Mandalorians, okay, look at their armor, look at the weapons they use, and we all know fighting against the Mandalorians or playing with them in not only SWTOR but in KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2, they know how to use all different types of weapons. They don't limit themselves to just one all the time. Okay, I look at Boba Fett, for me, the quintessential bounty hunter for the Star Wars universe. And he uses a variety of weapons. Okay? Especially his trademark blaster carbine that he uses. You know, the one that Luke slashes in half and turns into the Jedi. You know, why can't I use a rifle like that?
Same reason the bounty hunter class story doesn't end in the bottom of the Rancor pit. Because I'd like to point out that even though he came back in a book, that book is no longer canonical.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story.
Boba Fett is dead.
Quiet. Not happening. Not happening. But, you know, that is one thing I'd like them to address sometime in the future. But I hope they put that in the wall of crazy. Okay? To where, you know, again, keeping in terms in tune of the Force users. They can use whatever. Double-bladed, single-bladed, dual-bladed. You know, at this point in time, the old excuses no longer fly. Because if he can't see a class symbol of someone's head, I don't know what to tell you. Or at this point in time, if you can't tell what someone is by their class abilities they just use on you or your teammates, again, you know, if you see someone jumping up in the air, you know, who's red, and they just execute a huge 3K, 5K crit force smash, I guess we can know who that person is, right?
Well, by the same token, I would say at the very least, it shouldn't be that hard to make it so you can use your mirror classes' same weapons. Because you have literally mirror abilities.
Mm-hmm.
You could just duplicate them over. But lore speaking, it wouldn't make much sense for an Imperial sniper to be running around with double blasters.
Well,
or smuggler to be carrying a sniper rifle around with them.
Well, but again, by the same token, story-wise, I mean, what does the agent use during most of the cutscenes? A pistol, which he or she never uses in the game. Yet, in every cutscene that we have, what are we pulling out? A pistol.
Well, that is a whole other issue. Like, they really need to redo that. Well, before the game came out, they needed to redo those cutscenes so your character actually used the weapon that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a mistake. Instead of having a vibro knife as like that third slot for the agent, well, your offhand or whatever it is for the agent, they should have made that be some type of a blaster with a unique look, and that actually be your blaster in cutscenes or something. And actually have it appear on your side when you're not in a cutscene.
Right, and that would be nice. I mean, that would be a nice aesthetic. Again, to me, that would be a quality of life cosmetic thing, but it would be nice. And again, that's on a wish list, but that's something I wanted to bring up. You know, because I think at this point, you know, we'll talk about it later on, but you know, with 3.0 coming out and the discipline pass coming out now, and the skill tree's going away. All right, you've taken one step by doing away old mechanical stuff. You know what? Let's go back and retool this now.
And I know it's a different game, but World of Warcraft used to have that equipment slot like Librams and all that for the different classes, and they're actually talking about bringing that back now in a different form where it'll actually be a cosmetic item for the classes that used to be able to use that stuff. So it'll be something that actually displays on your character's gear. I don't know why they couldn't put like a cosmetic blaster in and let agents pick, and troopers and all that pick the little blaster pistol that they use and what it looks like.
Yeah, and again, and it would be nice, you know, it would be nice to see. But again, there are other issues that they should focus on. But you know, that's something I hope they definitely keep in mind and look to in the future to help again improve player quality of life within the game. And speaking of other game issues, I had some problems when I tried to play my Smuggler in Shadowlands. This is similar to what you had encountered before, Fred, where the game would just crashed the desktop.
Well,
you know,
mine was just turning the whole computer off.
But yeah, all right, yeah, your whole computer turning off. My game was just going away for some strange reason. And you know, even after the second time, I just did a repair, like the verification process and like that. Maybe a half hour, 40 minutes into the game would just crash. I would be back on my desktop. Like, okay, this is weird. And so it went on for another couple of times, and by the fifth time, I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not taking any chances. Did a complete and clean reinstall of SWTOR just to be safe. You know, and knock on wood, I haven't had any issues since then, but I just thought it was weird that this was happening because this never happened before on either my laptop or on this desktop. So I was like, what's going on? So I had no clue what's going on, and you know what? I'm moving on. I'm moving past because I haven't had any issues, so maybe that's just what I need to do. Maybe my game file, for some strange reason, has been so corrupted over time. I'm doing what? I have no clue. But hey, it worked. Issue free, and I'm happy.
For now.
But what was that?
For now.
For now.
Yeah, for now. But as such, it kind of cut into my game time with my smuggler, so I only got up to level 10 right now, and she's still in Ord Mantell. But I did get her up to the final quest area, and this is where you finally get when you get Corso, and you and he are about to hit that fortress, that volcano fortress, where the last guy is.
Yes.
Yep.
Paige and I noticed something when we were there too, Lou.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the Trooper is the only class in the entire game that doesn't get their first companion until they're done with the first planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You don't get Jorgen until you're actually done, until you're actually leaving.
So you're up there as a trooper in that volcano fortress, and you're watching smugglers run by with Corso, and you're up there by your lonesome, trying to clear out those areas.
Yeah, but then the part but you're a tank character. Yeah, that's not the point.
Not if you're a healer.
Yeah. Not if
And
you're
I'm totes a healer.
Yeah. Yeah, and Buckeye just mentioned in the chat, yeah, the assassin I think is the same way.
Well, with Kimball, you have him for a little while you're still on the planet. My main is an assassin. You get him, and then you go back to what's that guy's name? The guy that's with his face tattoo, the red hair. He kills Fawn.
Harkin.
Oh yeah, the overseer. Yeah, overseer Harkin. Yeah.
So there's some play still there.
Yeah, but for the most part, though, I mean, my sorcerer, you don't. By the time you get Kimball, though, you're pretty much done with Korriban.
Yeah,
Maybe
but you're not leaving.
Yes, but every class other than the Trooper, you still have quests to do on that planet by the time that you get your companion.
Yes.
Like, you normally have them for the last quest of the planet. And when it comes to the Trooper, you get Jorgen when you're done with the planet.
Mm-hmm. And when you're leaving, yeah, Garza gives you your shipping, your new orders, and
Garza.
and Jorgen's assigned to you. Yep.
Come to the Senate Tower. I'm sorry, Lou. Please continue.
Yeah. And even Palais brought up in the chat, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, Sentinels, Marauders, too. Every cutscene, remember the cutscenes? What do they pull out? A single lightsaber. Even though they're known to be the dual wielders of the game, they pull out a single lightsaber. Go back and retool that, BioWare. Be nice.
I don't know. Maybe it's like, I don't want to overkill you with 2. I mean, you're already going to die. Let me just...
Yeah, you never know. But... Wait, I'm psyched, though, because once I actually get off... once I'm actually done with that quest and leave Ord Mantell, going to head to the fleet and actually make my Scoundrel. Because, I have gunslingers, but they're on Jedi Covenant. And this time I wanted to actually try out the other side, the other advanced class for the Smuggler, and see how that's like. And experience that side of that gameplay.
Way better.
Well, like I said, I didn't have a problem with the cover mechanic for my Gunslinger because I'm used to it. I'm used to just dropping down and dropping to either cover or just concealment on my operative.
One word, Lou. Heals.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be nice though. Can't wait to try it out, see how it works there. Oh, augment kits I wanted to bring up. Yeah, boon and bane in my character's existence, regardless of server. Because as I mentioned earlier, I think some of the prices people ask for these things are, to say the least, insane. I mean, it's like you're buying the augment kit, in which some cases the augment kit isn't that expensive at all. They're reasonably priced. However, they get you with the actual augments themselves. They want, oh yeah, you want this augment? Yeah, 350,000. 300,000 credits. 400. You know what? No.
Well, so many different crew skills can make the actual kits, so the price on them is fairly reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
And especially because 3.0 is right around the corner, those kits are going for cheap because everybody wants to clear out their inventory now. because there's going to be another augment kit that comes out with the expansion.
Right, and they're going to want to, make room for all that stuff that's coming out.
Yeah. But augments are such an incremental increase that augments will still have some value into the new expansion for a while.
Oh, definitely. I find them valuable. I mean, most of my characters have them. It's the reason why they're all broke most of the time. I'm constantly doing the dailies to replenish the credit pool. And I also think, too, that, when you actually do add the augment kits, first of all, what are you doing? You're paying the game, I guess, an augment kit fee. Oh, yeah, you want to slap this augment kit on your piece of gear? Yeah, pay this, by the way. And so, for me, it gets to be a real pain in the rear. Is that you're pretty much getting slapped in your virtual wallet several times just to add an augment to your gear. Buying the augment kit, buying the actual augment you want to add, and then paying the damn fee to put the damn thing on your gear. And for some of the price that people ask for these things, okay, fine, I get it. It's a player-driven economy for the most part. But by the same token, if you're charging, if this is like pre-50 level augments and kits, be reasonable what you're asking for with pricing. And again, I add, don't give me an argument, well, you have alts. No, what if I don't? That's not a valid argument. If these are low-level players who don't have max-level characters, and they're trying to play, they're playing the game they want to play,
then they just need to scoop by like Jay's companions wearing greens for the first 50 levels.
Yeah. Yes, Jay. Augment's pre-55. Right? And Buckeye, you're right. I mean, your opinion is you see no reason to have Augment's pre-55. I do. I like to max out my characters as best I can with a performance. So there has to be a trade-off.
Right now, though, Lou, you should probably just hoard all your money till the expansion.
Yeah, and that's probably what I'll do.
And then we'll really hear you complain about prices when the first people hit the market with those augments.
Yeah.
$2 million for one augment.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to get ridiculous, I know. Yeah, supply is also low. I get those arguments, but again, if who is there a blame for that? No, I don't think it's just that people don't craft for that. And then MMOs I played where there's crafting like that, where you can add stuff like that to your gear. There's always a drought of that kind of equipment because why crafters don't bother putting that stuff out there, because of them it's a waste of their time. But you have your community out there that's leveling characters who may want that gear so they can enhance their experience while they're leveling. Not everything's about getting to 55 or 60, 70, 80, or 90 or 100. They want to max out their performance as they go along. I shouldn't have to wait till 100 before I start thinking about that. I start playing that stuff like, what? In one game I play, I request 2 tiers. Level 41 to 50, yeah, I need to get this type of gear to maximize my performance from 41 to 50. Even though the level cap is now 100, I still want to kick ass between 41 to 50. So I can clear that content that's appropriate for that level in a reasonable amount of time. So, again, where does that leave the community?
Valid point.
Right, and you're absolutely right, Jay. I'm actually a player who, I enjoy the end game, but I also enjoy the leveling process. My focus is always end game to me is at the end game, but I'm also going to enjoy my ride getting there. My whole focus is, I'm going to get the insert level cap here within a week. No, it's hell. I'm going to enjoy getting from 1 to 10. I'm going to enjoy getting 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40. I'm going to enjoy the bleeping hell out of it because I'm paying for this game. That's what I want to do.
Actually, I want to interject here. Jay actually said that would put you in the minority that you enjoy the mid game, and that's not true at all. BioWare themselves have come out and said that leveling content is the story content that is played the most in this game. The majority of players enjoy leveling up through the story content.
Right, and that's the main drive of the game anyway, is that you play for the story. And that's one of its selling points, is you play the story of your particular hero or villain within the SWTOR universe.
And that's why when they come out with an expansion, it adds 5 levels of story content and not whatever other content people might feel is more prevalent.
True. Well, and here, Jay, I mean, all right, you have a point. Well, there's no point in being badass for 5 levels. Well, for Tor, getting levels is pretty easy. I mean, I play other modes where the leveling process is, I wouldn't say, some are grindy. But then again, I'm an old school MMOer to where I play MMOs to where getting to level 10 took weeks. Not in an ordinary amount of time that we see nowadays. So I guess, I'm used to that mindset. So for me, that's why I enjoy maxing out my characters for whatever tier they're in at that moment. But anyway, besides that, pretty much forcing my characters to craft, which I don't really like to do because to me that just takes away from my time in playing the game.
Well,
So
at least you don't have to sit there in front of a crafting station and do it yourself.
Yeah, that's true. You just have your companions do it.
Yeah, if you have like a huge wad of money on that character, you can still play while you're crafting.
Yeah, again, that's another money sink, which hurts after a while. But we'll see. I mean, I have to balance it out eventually. But I am going to do it. But then on to my other character, my sniper. And Jedi Covenant is going to take some getting used to. Because I'm so used to playing my operative, I'm always looking for the stealth button.
It makes you feel like you're a gimped agent, doesn't it?
Well,
You're like running around and you're like, crap, I can't stealth.
Well, and to me, again, I don't understand why they made it that way because to me, the Imperial agent should have stealth. I mean, to me, that's part and parcel of who they are. And forgive me, that's who a sniper is. If you want to bring the real world equivalent, a sniper with no ability to go unseen, are you effing kidding me?
It would make more sense to me for the sniper and gunslinger to have stealth than it does for the operative.
Yeah, and the scoundrel. Yes, exactly. Because one field, my operative, I'm healing.
Yeah, exactly. One advanced class gets heals, the other one should have stealth.
Right. Again, let's take the role of sniper. Okay, let's have it sink in for a moment.
Or
Sniper,
let's
they
take
can't
the
stealth.
other game example of this with the Shadow and Sage and the Assassin and Sorcerer. The one that heals does not get stealth.
Right.
It always seemed kind of weird to me that they gave the healer stealth instead of giving the class that has no heals stealth so that they can get around. Especially when they just continue to nerf the crap out of snipers and gunslingers, like making their flashbang only affect one target.
Right. Meanwhile, they're drawing aggro from everyone.
Yeah. But yet, the operative and scoundrel can still flashbang an entire group. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. Just give more utility to the one that can already heal and stealth.
Right. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's going to get some getting used to. And I'm getting there. But one thing I do enjoy, though, is, I wonder if it's just me, but I sometimes enjoy seeing Cleo die towards the end of a fight. Even though I know I'm going to win, it's just seeing her health bar go down, even lower and lower. Oh, my companion's been defeated. It's all right. It's okay, Cleo. I got you. I'll res you again. Oh, it's probably because I can't stand her character. I mean, even in my operative, I even went when the game first came out. I even went on the forum and said, "My God, when do I get my next companion? I can't stand Cleo. When am I getting my next companion?" And the moment I got my next companion, boom! I never took her out again.
Alderaan.
Yeah.
Vector.
Yeah. Once I got Vector, I never took her out again, ever.
Vector was my savior, and after I got him, I never used another companion again.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
well, that's a lie, because I did the HK quest on my operative and used him, but Vector's my dude.
I mean, if I ever stream my operative gameplay, I will show you Cleo. She's still in that same gear I had her all those years ago when I first put her back there. Once I got Vector, I stuck her back in the ship. She's still in that very same, green level gear she's got.
Yeah, and people used to wonder why I had such hatred for Cleo.
I still like her.
Back in the day, we had an episode called "Take My Kaleo Away."
Yes, we did.
Just a hater.
That was retro times way back then.
Yep. And speaking of other companions, with this sniper, I am probably, I'm just waiting to get Vector. Just waiting. Once I get him, my purpose is I'm just gonna start gearing him up, and then, I'll use Dr. Loken.
Lou, I just glanced at the notes for a second, and after I saw that last bullet point of yours, I just quit caring about everything above it. Like, wow. Well, we need to make a site for that.
Yeah. And I'm actually looking and start saving up, because I'm going to put, both him and, Vector and Loken in Regulation Imperial gear. The orange social gear you can get. Because RP-wise, my sniper and my companions are going to be all Imperial loyalists.
There is a heroic on Voss that you can do once a day, and it offers an orange moddable chest piece. That is the Imperial look.
Yes, yeah, I know what you're talking about. God, it escapes me.
It's in the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Pick it up off of a terminal in there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look it up now.
I know it's going to bug me now.
Exactly. Oh, and speaking of looks, I think on the forum there should be a section, post or a thread, saying that's just called the people of the fleet. It's going to be the same vein as the people of Walmart, Kmart, whatever.
Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Where is there a people of Walgreens?
No, whatever. But you know what I'm saying, though. We know there's people of Walmart.
That's a thing.
Because
I used to spend so much time on that website. It's not even funny.
Because when you're on the fleet, or even when you're questing or living on planets, you'll see some player looks that you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, and some you're like, oh my god, what were you thinking?
People of Kmart, does that just show an empty Kmart somewhere? Nobody shops there anymore. And people of Walgreens is a bunch of old people standing in line for medication.
I don't know. I've seen some busted people at the Walgreens up the street.
Yeah.
They thought it was Walmart.
It's 24 hours. Yeah, that must be what it is. They're like, this is the closest wall I can get. I'm just going to turn it into this one. Sorry.
Yeah, but I have seen some amazing looks and some downright, I need the eye bleach right now.
Hey, peopleofthefleet.com is available.
Oh,
what
Lord.
about people of Walgreens? I'll be disappointed if I can't get this one. All right, so you had a pretty eventful week, huh, Lou?
Yes, and hopefully things will get better. I know they're going to get better.
And I'll tell you about what I did this week. I made my new gunslinger with Paige. He's a Sith pureblood on the Shadowlands. We completely cleared out Ord Mantell and the Esselis. I put Corso in the Mantellian Separatist's armor, which is ironic since they killed his parents.
Lols.
I also gave Corso that really crappy blaster rifle that you can get off the GTN for like 70 credits on Shadowlands.
Oh, is that the one you showed me?
That Socorro one or whatever it is. Like, one version is like a long rifle, and the other one looks like a blaster pistol, although it's still a rifle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The long one sells for 70 credits, and the short one sells for even less than that.
And no one wants them.
I gave it to Corso. It matches the Separatist armor, like, perfectly. So I gave that to Corso. And cover mechanics are already starting to get on my nerves. I'm giving it a chance, like you asked me to, off-air, Lou. And the very first ability that I got for being a gunslinger has a 2.5 second cast time, which means mostly anything that we fight as a duo is dead before I ever get it off. And I bought that new green core lightsaber crystal that was in the store for my gunslinger, which it's one of the few Hawkeye crystals that I have.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a huge difference at level 10 when you're dual wielding two blaster pistols that have plus 41 power crystals in them.
My God.
Like, you're just destroying things.
Can you imagine you put endurance crystals there?
Well, I have done that on a tank character. Put it in my generator and in my gun.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a huge difference at low levels. I also got the BL-28 blaster pistols, which have a wooden handle, and on the side of the guns there is a little light that actually blinks whatever color the crystal is inside of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Pretty cool. And I also played my Sith Assassin a little bit on Nar Shaddaa and started the task of taking over my cult.
Yeah, I remember that part.
And I am wondering how the heck a body type 4 Sith pureblood ever managed to survive the Korriban Academy, let alone take over Nar Shaddaa street gangs.
See, when I came up to that part, my sorcerer many years ago, many moons ago, I thought it's because life got so good for them, they just got fat. You know, living a high life, living large.
I guess.
Given, being a cult, cult personality,
And then basically the other thing I did this week, I just started doing the crap out of the black hole dailies because I need money everywhere now. And I've been going at it a little bit more hardcore than usual, hitting it with as many characters as possible because the expansion's coming. I'm going to need as much money as possible.
Yes.
I may capitalize on this pre-order deal so that I can get another 55 over on Shadowlands to do dailies ASAP. And speaking of which, I think that takes us into our discussion topic.
Yes, it does. It's actually going to be about, well, folks, if you read today on Twitter, on BioWare's main website for SWTOR, they've announced Shadow of Revan.
Fred was right.
Yes, the saga continues in Star Wars: The Republic with Shadow Revan, an all-new digital expansion. So, we've all heard it today, or if you're hearing about now.
I can't remember somebody guessing this title before.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I know we talked about it, especially when we brought up SWTOR Minor. Gosh.
I'm pretty sure that they just came up with an abbreviation and then they let somebody in the community name it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what they made it be.
I wonder if someone's getting royalties off of that.
I doubt that. They obviously couldn't even afford to give us a new race.
Ooh,
too soon?
Oh, there it goes.
No. Well, anyway. Like we said, Shadow Revan was announced today. It's on the website. Take a look at it, folks. And actually, we want to bring up a few highlights here. Okay? For example, players who pre-order by November 2nd, 2014 will receive 1 week of early access to Shadow Revan, which starts December 2nd. You will also receive an exclusive Grand Statue of Revan to display in your stronghold. And you'll also receive the digital expansion, Rise of the Hutt Cartel. Although, as a subscriber, you automatically receive Rise of the Hutt Cartel. But if you're preferred or free-to-play and you pre-order Shadows of Revan, then you're going to get Rise of the Hutt Cartel as part of that package deal. Okay? Now.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I feel
go
the
ahead.
need to say, people who pre-order get access on the 2nd, but anyone who orders after the 1st, they get access. No, if you pre-order by the 2nd, oh Jesus.
If you pre-order before November 3rd, you receive all the stuff Lou just listed. If you pre-order between November 3rd and December 1st, you will receive exclusive Grand Statue of Revan and the digital expansion. So basically, the only thing that's different here is if you don't pre-order by the time early access starts, you don't get early access.
So the point I was trying to make was that if you don't get early access, you don't get to play the game until December 9th. Correct?
That is correct.
Okay, that's the point I was trying to make. Sorry.
Yep, because the official launch date is December 9th, but if you pre-order by November 2nd, folks, you're going a week early. So yeah, December 2nd for you folks who pre-order. Also, subscribers who pre-order the digital expansion will receive a class experience boost as a bonus. with the following details. Players are offered 12 times experience gain while playing exclusively through class story missions up to level 55. This boost is effective immediately and expires on December 1st, 2014. So the moment you pre-order, folks, okay, everything's registered, you get the receipt, whatever, what have you. The moment you log in, I believe it should start kicking in. However, be warned, I know there are some people in the forums who've had issues with that, so if you're playing a character and you don't see it start kicking in, I would definitely log in a support ticket, okay, and have them fix that for you.
Make sure you try the obvious of actually logging completely out of the game and rebooting the client before you submit a ticket.
Yes. Don't just minimize the game, log on to the website, do everything, and then wait for kicking. You might want to actually exit out of the game itself. Get out. Yeah, do a hard log out and log back in from the launcher. Right. Have the game, have the system have a chance to actually update itself, have it talk to its parent sites, and say, oh, by the way, this person's entitled to it. Okay. Let's switch it on for that.
It's sad that you have to tell people that, but you do.
Yeah, because if you have to open a ticket, they're probably not going to reply to it until your early access is over anyway. Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. So those are just some of the basic highlights we wanted to bring up right away. As we said, if you want the actual fine details, it's actually on there, on the website, where they go into much more depth as to what's going on. Okay? So take a look at that if you're interested. Now, we did go through this, and we came up with a few points that we would like to discuss. And the first one is the price point. This time they've announced that it's going to be $19.99, and there doesn't appear to be any discount for subscribers this time. With Rise of the Hutt Cartel, subscribers were able to pay $9.99 for the expansion, and anybody that wasn't a subscriber had to pay close to $20.
I'm not even going to complain about that because some expansions cost $60.
And then I turn it over to Lou.
Well, that's true. But here's the thing: it's $19.99, $20 US in the end. Okay, it's more than a monthly sub. Fine, I get that for what they're introducing for the content. However, if I was a subscriber and I already have Rise of the Hutt Cartel, then there should be a staggered cost. And by that I mean, I already own ROTH. I already own Rise of the Hutt Cartel. So if you're telling me that Rise of the Hutt Cartel expansion is factored into this new price for Shadows of Revan, then allow me the option of saying, hey, you know what, I already own Rise of the Hutt Cartel, so I'm a subscriber. Or even though I was free to play preferred and I ordered it, okay, lower that price for me because I already own it. It's like you're charging me twice for an expansion I already own.
Well, I think that they should have worded it differently. I think they're basically just saying that if you're free to play or preferred, they're just giving you that expansion for free when you order this one.
Right, but then again, if you're free to play or preferred, you had the option to get Rise of the Cartel anyway on your own.
Well, that's true, but I think that their goal, I think they're doing what Sony does here, like with the EverQuest franchise, and when they come out with a new expansion, it's automatically going to have the previous ones that were paid bundled into it, so people don't need to buy multiple expansions to get up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Galactic Starfighter and Galactic Strongholds were both free expansions, and Rise of the Cartel was the only paid one so far. Mm-hmm. So I think that going forward, we're going to see all of the paid ones that were previously out bundled into the new one, so people don't have to buy more than one to be completely caught up. I just think that they made a mistake by listing it as a bullet point here, because then it seems like something extra you're paying for.
Right, and that's probably caused some confusion. Which brings me to that point. It's like, okay, but I already own Rise of the Cartel. If that's part of the reason why it's priced that, then there's a way to take that off and lower the price for me. So that's why I brought it up.
Really, it doesn't seem like they're giving you a whole lot for pre-ordering, though. I think that XP bonus is what they're really hoping to be the bait.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the only thing why I'd get it. Would be the 12 times experience. The Grand Statue is nice, but okay, whatever.
I mean, especially for that group of people that doesn't even care about strongholds. It's like, okay, yeah, you gave me a statue, thanks.
Right, that they're never going to use because they could care less about strongholds, and that's that's them. So in the end, you're not giving anything they really want.
Couldn't even throw in another vanity pet.
You don't think they will? I mean, they give you random stuff like that all the time just for being a subscriber.
Yeah, but if they were going to, it would be a bullet point here.
Mm.
They're trying to sell this expansion now, so anything that they're willing to give you for pre-ordering would be listed here. That Dr. Ogorob statue and the little tree creature vanity pet was listed on the Rise of the Hutt Cartel one.
I don't know. I feel like they're going to give you more than that. And even if they don't, I'm still happy with the price. $20 doesn't hurt as bad as $60 or whatever.
Well, I agree with that, but it will be a matter of how much content is actually in this when it comes.
Right, and remember, for me, I'm just going off of what I've read on the websites, for, Swolator. So, not having tested this on my own, or seeing this on the test server, just going strictly off the information that they've given us on their sites. Again, these are just my impressions. That brings me to the story. Okay. So what are we getting? We're getting more story in terms of, I guess, the overall Planet Quest lines. All right, and I guess in the same token, in the same mode as we saw on Makeb. All right, it's just a matter of whether you're Imperial or you're Republic. This is the story you get. Okay, as opposed to, as we've seen from 1 to 50. Not only did you get, you got the story, the planet stories. Okay, planet quests, but you also got your class story and class quests to go with it. So here, again, I believe we're just going to get the same thing we saw in Makeb. You're just going to get the same story, whether you're a smuggler, trooper, consular, or knight. Same story whether you're a warrior, inquisitor, agent, or bounty hunter.
Yeah, definitely. They already confirmed that, though, long before this expansion was ever even talked about, that they're not doing any more class story at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But real quick, before we get into the biggest bullet point here, Yavin 4 and it's either Rishi or Rishi.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about these 2 planets that are going to be included with this one, as they claim them to be planets?
Well, I'm trying to remember. I know this was one point that was brought up on the forums. Technically, Yavin 4 is a moon. Okay. Because Yavin itself is a gas giant, and Yavin 4 is one of its moons. Okay. However, if you want to go real world in terms of technically what astronomy classifies as what makes a moon, a planetoid, an asteroid, a comet. All right. I guess that's the biggest point that players are picking right now is the fact that, Yavin 4 is a moon. It's not a planet. However, when you look at it from the Star Wars perspective, the Star Wars universe, Yavin Prime itself is a huge-ass gas giant planet. Huge-ass gas giant like Jupiter. All right, think of it as that. And its moons are planet-sized themselves. I mean, look how big Jupiter is compared to, it's the biggest planet in the solar system. And then when you look at some of Jupiter's moons, some of them are almost planet-sized like Earth, okay, or like Mars. So even though technically, it's a moon because it's orbiting another body around the star, around the sun, it technically could qualify as a planet because it's just that damn big. So to me, that leaves a lot of options in terms of, they can make a lot of zones. They could expand and build upon what they put on Yavin 4 and Rishi.
When they first put out that little teaser trailer where they showed Revan, somebody in the thread actually had guessed that Yavin 4 was going to be part of it. So that was a pretty good guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that they're at least giving us 2 areas to go to right off the bat. And I fully expect that throughout the life of this expansion, we're going to get new planets added, just like they added Manon and Oricon and things like that as we go.
Mm-hmm.
And we should just be happy because it isn't just Makeb was one planet. They're giving us 2 areas to go to at least. Hopefully there's just as much, if not more, content than Makeb had.
Well, and that's why I say I'm hopeful for, and I'm hoping that they build upon it, because as Pele mentioned in chat, Yavin 4 does have a lot of history in the Star Wars universe. Well, and in the EU, even though that's now go back to legend status now. But yeah, Yavin 4 does have a history. I know before in previous lore segments I talked about, an offshoot of the Sith, the Massassi. Okay, the Massassi built a civilization on Yavin 4. They're the ones who built those temples on Yavin 4, the Sith temples on Yavin 4. All right, and that's probably what we're going to see anyway in 3.0 when Shadows of Revan releases. We're going to see those Massassi temples, during their heyday, or just recently, either at their prime or when they start going into their decline. Because by the time we hit Episode 4, all right, the Massassi are long dead, they're long gone, and those temples have fallen into ruin.
So, is there a possibility that there might be Massassi there when we go there?
Yeah, there should be somewhere. Not a lot, but there should be some Massassi there. Like, we should be able to see them maybe as, when you first played KOTOR, okay, when you first got to Lahan or Rakata Prime, all right, who did you see? Yeah, you did see a couple of the Rakata. You didn't see a lot of them, but they were stragglers. There were straggling bands here and there, survivors. So maybe they won't be there in numbers, but they will be there, and hopefully we get a chance to interact with them. See them. And I see this as a great opportunity, at least story-wise, for BioWare to say, hey, these are the Massassi, this is what they've done. Since they left, they left the Sith so long, they left the pureblood Sith a while ago, this is what they've become in that time frame. This is how they've evolved.
Yeah, that'll definitely be cool, because I remember the lore segment where you covered them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then that brings us to the biggest bullet point out of this expansion, where BioWare has decided to completely scrap the skill trees and move into the discipline system, which at first glance, to myself, this seems very reminiscent of what World of Warcraft did with their talent tree. When was that page? Cataclysm?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I will elaborate, but I'm going to make this simple. I don't like it. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like having my options taken away from me. I like building my tree the way I like building it. Leave it alone.
Now, I will caveat this, that at this point, we don't have a whole lot of knowledge about what they're going to be doing with this discipline system. So our commentary on this will become much more educated as they release more information for it. But as of right now, my initial implication is that this is not a positive change. I actually am a fan of the skill trees that they have in SWTOR right now, and that's one of the things that makes me enjoy this game more than World of Warcraft, is I still have the ability to build my own custom tree. And from what I've seen of the new discipline system, it's going to be pretty much cookie cutter for the majority of it, where you pick a spec, and just as you level up, you get all those abilities. And there is no choice to really go wrong anymore.
That's one of the reasons I kind of liked SWTOR over Warcraft, because I'm a big don't tell me what to do fan. And if I want to put, not that I do, but if I want to put points in a bunch of stupid places, it's my choice. I don't like for my options to be limited because other people cannot educate themselves enough to build a decent tree.
Well, one of the things that the developers cite is basically that they don't want to waste as many resources rebalancing every time a new expansion comes out. But really, that seems like a huge cop-out to me, since they've only done... This is the second expansion in the life of the game where they need to redo the trees, and it just seems like, to me, that they're taking the lazy way out.
Yeah, that's the word that I'd use to describe it, laziness. You don't want to commit resources to giving your players options.
Yeah, and, for the most part, it's that problem. The fact that they've said they don't want to... I mean, God, did they actually say that in writing on
yes,
the website?
That's actually in the announcement.
Wow. Okay.
Go ahead and talk, and I'll see if I can find it.
I mean, to me, that just tells me that, yes, even though we are introducing major, sweeping, broad changes into the game, we don't really want to deal with the fallout with it. You know, it's like telling people, hey, you know what? You were so used to going to Building 12 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but we're now sending you to Building 20, which is 2 miles away, and you have to get there on your own. It's like, what? You're introducing changes, and yet you're doing nothing to support. You know, you're telling your players, oh, well, yeah, we want to do this because we want to do it.
Here we go. I found it, Lou. They say, when we add more points, as well as more skills themselves, to the trees during a level cap increase, all of that balance is thrown off kilter, and we must reset for every advanced class. This results in a massive amount of time spent every level cap increase simply redoing and rebalancing the skill trees over and over, preventing us from spending time actually doing cool new things. And again, this is only the second expansion, and they're already complaining about having to rebalance.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't buy that. That's your job. I'm sorry, that's what you're supposed to do. If you want your game to be fair and equitable to your player base, damn it, take the time to balance your damn game.
I think one of you mentioned this before, maybe even before the show. That's why you commit different teams to doing different things.
Right. To me, that sounds like you have, like, you information before. They only have one team doing all the work.
And honestly, I think they took a look at what WoW's doing, and they decided that it would be much better to have a system like that so that they could skimp out on having to balance. But this is one of the few things that actually separated SWTOR from the current WoW, and I don't like that they're making it much more WoW-like now.
I don't know that necessarily makes it more WoW-like, but it is stripping options from players. I mean, and it dumbs it down for me to just give you this, I'll give you that. You don't have to think, you don't have to learn how to play, or don't even bother reading your abilities. Just press buttons.
Well, again, to be fair, all that we're basing this off of is a paragraph where they explain the basics, and there's one image that they show us. And from the image that we see, it looks like there is, on the left-hand side, a path that fills itself in as you level the character up, and it gives you abilities and passives. And then on the right-hand side, which is the part that seems similar to how WoW does it, there are several abilities in tiers, and you get to spend what are called utility points to unlock those of your choice, which I assume that these abilities in the utility points are going to be very similar, but perhaps with cosmetic differences when you use the abilities, and you get to pick how you want it to look and basically what style your character is going to have, but they basically do the same thing. And again, all of this is based on assumptions right now because we don't have any clarification.
Right. Right, and even, Pele mentioned in chat, to be fair, even Blizzard, with all their money and resources, couldn't balance their talent system. A system they created with Diablo 2. All right, Pele, as a counterpoint to that, it also boils down to, does Blizzard want to commit those resources? That's the issue I see. Is the fact that, yeah, Blizzard has all that income, but whether or not they're willing to actually hire people to balance out their system is another story. It's another issue. It's like, yeah, they could have, but they didn't.
Well, what's really sad is the SWTOR team was getting better and better at balancing the skill trees to the point where things were actually feeling pretty good lately. Like, things were close, and then they just threw it all out the window with this expansion. But we're not going to harp too much on this. We'll come back to this as they put out new information about the discipline system.
Exactly. I mean, again, this is all of what we've seen on their website. The one page where they pretty much give you an introduction.
Yeah, I mean, this could very well come out, and we might like it more once we actually get hands-on with it.
Exactly. And as a case in point, remember, folks, tomorrow, it's actually Tuesday, October 7th, they're actually going to have a live stream about this, where they're actually going to talk about the discipline system. So if you have time, tomorrow, I believe, I'm trying to find the information exactly when they're going to do it. They released a post about it. that they are going to run a live stream to explain the discipline system to players. All right, so Hillary Nicole, or Pocket, put a post out today. Wanted to let you know tomorrow, October 7th, we will be showing off disciplines for the first time live. Eric Musco and David DeMarie will walk you through the changes seen in our Introduction to Disciplines blog. And this is going to happen from between...
Man. I hope Musco does disciplines better than he decorates.
It's going to be from 2 to 3 p.m. Central. Okay, it's going to be on twitch.tv/SwoTour. And they'll be showcasing disciplines. So 2 to 3 p.m. Central, so that is 3 to 4 Eastern Time.
Okay, so that brings us to the Star Wars recommendation of the week. What do you have for us, Paige?
Silence. Okay. For those interested in actually getting a look at the recommendation of the week, I'll be posting a link with a photo on the Facebook wall. This week we have something coming from our friends over at ThinkGeek.com. This is a t-shirt with Admiral Akbar on it. And the description it gives is, Admiral Akbar is one of the best seafood commanders of all times. Without him, the rebellion would have been lost. And now you can celebrate this talented and sometimes stater-of-the-obvious admiral as he would have appeared in Royal Navy attire. He has a mustache and an awesome hat and big blue shoulder pads. I like the shirt.
He looks like Napoleon.
A little bit.
It's a crap.
It's a shirt.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. Only $20.
Right? So is the expansion.
Or expansion. Shirt or
Shirt or the expansion. I don't know.
To the intelligence report.
On to the obvious. So, this week, it'll be a brief one, folks. It's going to be over on the... We're going to be covering the 7th Alsacan conflict. Or, as you may have seen it in SWTOR, if you got that Datacron, the Pius Dea Civil War. And as a quote from one of the people in that time frame, these gave as good as they got. And cold and hot wars alternated for 1,000 years, while the Republic flagellated itself with inquisitions, until Pius Dea rule met its end in that famous encounter which hardly needs retelling here. From Gabriel Trion, from the novel Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Prodigy, a cartel of genes. So, this is 7th Alsacan conflict, also known as the Renunciation or the Pius Dea Civil War, was one of several conflicts between the planets Alsacan and Coruscant and their respective allies. The 7th was a war between the Galactic Republic, under the control of the Pius Dea religious group, and their enemies, including the Jedi Order, Alsacan, and many alien species that had been persecuted by the Pius Dea cult. The conflict resulted in an Alsacani Jedi victory, with the removal of the Pius Dea from power and replacement of the Pius Dea leader, Contispex the 19th, with Jedi Grandmaster Biel Doctavus as Supreme Chancellor. And here we go with the prelude. The Pius Dea was a religious cult that had controlled the Galactic Republic ever since the human Contispex I was elected Supreme Chancellor in 11,987 before the Battle of Yavin. His descendants formed the Contispex dynasty, cementing their control of the Republic for over 1,000 years. During their reign, a time later known as the Pius Dea era, the Pius Dea launched a series of 34 crusades against alien species and suspected alien sympathizers. The cult's humanocentric views and their aggressive actions against non-humans angered many alien species, driving groups such as the Duros, Hergliks, Hutts, and the Kamazi to oppose their rule. The Jedi Order had long split with the Pius Dea controlled Republic, having recused themselves to their academy world of Ossus in 11,933 years before the Battle of Yavin. So the actual conflict itself. Around 10,967 years before the Battle of Yavin, the peaceful Kamazi finally convinced the Jedi to end their recusal and act against the Pius Dea. The Kamazi also convinced the inhabitants of the planet Alsacan and their allies to join the fight, and begin making alliances with alien species that had been persecuted by the Pius Dea. Over the next few months, the two groups secretly instigated a religious revolution amongst the Pius Dea. Unknowingly influenced by the Jedi, many believers joined the movement, and renounced the traditional PSDA of faith in favor of one more favorable to alien species. Those PSDA who followed that new faith secretly called themselves the Renunciates, gathering new members throughout the Republic. This schism sparked a brutal civil war between the Renunciates and those who remained loyal to their faith, known as the Faithful. Renunciates and Faithful battled across the Republic, ravaging ordnance, regional depots, generation ships, government offices, and a myriad of other locations. Alsakani forces attacked PSDA fortresses at Fondor, Cyrilia, Ixtlar, Ord Mirit, and Ord Karita, supported by the Jedi Order and the combined forces of their allies, primarily the Duros, Herglics, and the Hutts. The Republic's rocket jumper elite advance unit also saw action against PSDA forces in Ord Karita. The conflict soon exploded into all-out war as the PSDA-led Republic began attacking the Renunciates and the Jedi-led Alliance. However, much of the Republic Navy decided to defect from the Republic, joining the Jedi and Alsakani against the religious fanatics. While the PSDA were greatly weakened by the defection, they still had an entire fleet of cathedral ships to rely upon and continued to wage war against those that they saw as impure. It was not until a year later that the Bureau of Ships and Services decided to make their move. Coordinating with the Renunciates and the Alliance, the Boss secretly seeded PSDA's fleet of cathedral ships with rogue navicomputer codes. The Order and its allies gathered the forces at the planet Ukeen, baiting the Faithful into attacking the Renunciate fleet there. Just before the PSDA's fleet jumped to hyperspace, the Boss sent a signal to every ship in the fleet that activated the implanted code. More than half the fleet disappeared and was lost in hyperspace. Many of those missing cathedral ships found themselves stranded in deep space, with their navicomputers wiped clean and their hyperdrives and communication systems rendered useless. Those aboard would be unable to return and would eventually die from lack of supplies. The remaining ships arrived at Ukeen to find themselves under attack by the combined forces of the Renunciates and the Jedi-led Alliance. A strike team of Jedi Knights boarded the PSDA flagship Flame of Centaura and captured Supreme Chancellor Constipex XIX, ending the PSDA rule of the Republic. Constipex was taken to the planet Kamos, where he was found guilty of crimes against the galaxy and imprisoned for the rest of his life. Without their leader, the PSDA of Faith crumbled after the defeat at Ukeen. Every single member of the Faith was removed from office, and Jedi Grand Master Biel Octavius succeeded Constipex XIX as Supreme Chancellor. The aftermath. The Seventh Alsacan conflict ended a millennium of widespread fear and state-sponsored persecution, ushering in the Octavius era of rebuilding and restoration. PSDA of Faith died out not long after the end of the conflict, as the galaxy turned on them in revenge for the millennia of persecution that they had caused. The Faith's humanitarian views, however, would remain just below the surface of society by the fall of the Republic. The idea of human high culture was once more widely accepted in the core worlds. The Sith Lord Darth Sidious used the humanicentric attitude of the primarily human core to help cement his control over the new galactic empire millennia later in 19 years before the Battle of Yavin. Despite the fact that Alsacan had aided the Jedi in removing the PSDA from power, this would not prevent the planet from rebelling against Coruscant and the Republic later on. Alsacan and its allies would continue attempting to usurp Coruscant as the Republic capital in a further 10 conflicts, with the final conflict ending almost 8,000 years later. Biel Octavius was one of the earliest Jedi to assume the post of Supreme Chancellor, and he began a trend of Jedi assuming power in times of turmoil. During the second half of the New Sith Wars, each leader of the Jedi Order also served as Supreme Chancellor, a practice that ended with the election of Supreme Chancellor Tarsus Valorum and the Ruusan Reformation. And this concludes the 7th Alsacan conflict. And as always, I want to say thank you to Wikipedia, StarWars.com, Force.net, and other Star Wars lore sites for having all this information out there. Folks, if you enjoy the Star Wars lore as much as I do, please visit these sites, look up your favorite topics, and enjoy.
I don't know how you went through that without saying Alaskan, because I would have.
It's a baked Alaskan. No!
A baked Alaskan. Wow.
We're not going there with that.
Yeah, let's don't do that.
Moving into the community holo feed.
Yes, so the community holo feed, where we go over your emails, tweets, and Facebook feedback.
And first up is the trivia question of the week, where each week we're going to post a trivia question into our YouTube video version of the show. Simply go to StarWarsBeyond.com, and in the post for each episode, we will link you right to our YouTube video as soon as it posts. And on the YouTube video page, there is a button in the show where you press it and it goes right to Lou's trivia question. And you can hear the question, and then simply send an email to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com and include your character name, your faction, and your server. If you answer correctly, well, if more than one person answers correctly, we will randomly draw to decide who the winner is. And every time you answer correctly, even if you're not the weekly winner, you're entered into the grand prize drawing for a much larger prize. And Lou, I don't believe we had a winner for this question, did we?
No, unfortunately, we did not. So, nice try, though, for everyone who participated. Thank you for chiming in. Sorry it didn't work out, but no one answered correctly.
No.
Dun, 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 dun.
I like that bankrupt noise from Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
No.
So, the trivia answer is this. If you haven't guessed by now, the answer is actually the Harbinger.
And some of you play on that server.
Okay. The question answer is the Harbinger. Okay. The Harbinger was a Hammerhead class Republic cruiser. All right. If you've played Knights of the Republic 2, the Sith Lords, that's the Republic cruiser you see at the beginning of the game. That's carrying Darth Sion. All right. That's the one that brings him to that mining facility of Paragus. So again, thanks to everyone who participated. I'm sorry no one answered correctly, but keep faith. Another question's coming up later on.
That's right, and it's going to be another one you get 2 weeks to answer.
Make it hard.
Don't make it any harder, Lou. Roll one over the plate for him this time. Let it touch the sand.
All right, I'll try.
All right, so then we had an email, didn't we, Lou?
Yes, we did, and this email comes from JJ. And JJ writes in, "Hello, team. It's me, JJ." Hello, JJ.
Hello.
While finishing Alderman, I'm assuming he means Alderaan. For my bounty hunter class
Alderman.
For my bounty hunter class mission, someone posted in the chat for heroic. I accepted, but he asked for us to come to him. Me, not thinking anything about it, went to him. I asked him for the mission. He gave it. We finished the heroic. He says nothing, and he leaves the group immediately. Then I noticed that the heroic he shared wasn't completed in my mission. He had us do a different one for him, like we wouldn't do the one he wanted. He must have used a more popular heroic in the chat to get someone to help him. Lol. I didn't care, but if you want help in heroics, just ask and share the correct one, instead of trying to manipulate people.
No, see what clearly happened here. You were on Alderman, and he shared a heroic for Alderaan, and tricked you. Alderman is right next to Corellia, or whatever the heck Jay said the other week. Corellia, I believe it was. Alderman and Corellia are right next to each other. That's in the unknown regions. Right next to the moon of Epcot.
Yeah, I like Epcot.
It's canonical now. It's a moon, Lou.
But
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. So
Like-
basically these people are douchebags, JJ.
No,
yeah,
I mean, we're assuming that the dude cheated him or manipulated him. Maybe he made a mistake. He could have accidentally clicked something else in his quest log and linked the wrong quest. I mean, it happens. No?
Maybe JJ looked at the wrong quest. Maybe it was actually finished and he's just calling some poor guy out.
Well, he didn't name any names, so we're all good.
Lou, next time you group with JJ, you really gotta check what quest you're sharing with him.
Ixnay.
Ixnay. Ixnay on the position on the ship, eh?
I
So,
don't think...
Paige, what's going on in the SWTOR community?
Check out these up-to-date podcast episodes. ToroCast, episode 215, posted on September 29th on torocast.com. UntiniCast, episode 168, is available at untinicast.com since October 2nd. SWTOR Escape Podcast, episode 58, available at newoverlords.com since September 30th. Old Republic Radio, episode 80, available on October 1st on iTunes. Healing SWTOR released another episode on October 5th to iTunes. And MIDI Podcasts, episode 53, released on September 29th to iTunes, and the Bad Feeling Podcast, episode 34, posted on October 2nd to iTunes and badfeelingpodcast.com. Be warned, that is an explicit podcast. Also follow Madmar at SWOTOR Family for the latest happenings in the SWOTOR community. If you'd like to have your podcast listed in this segment, send us an email at StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com.
And now I'm going to tell you how you can get a hold of us. You can find out more about the show at StarWarsBeyond.com. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. You can send us an email to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. Do you think we mentioned that enough in the show? You can tweet the show at StarWarsBeyond. You can tweet me at SithLordKorv, KORV. You can tweet Lou at GamerGuy11B. And you can tweet Paige at Asaphiry, ASAPHIRY.
Can I just say something about tweeting me? You have to follow me, and I have to follow you back first, because my stuff's set to private, and I'm not changing that.
And now it's time for your final thought, Lou.
That wasn't my final thought. That was not my final thought.
That's all you get. Everybody only gets one.
Well, that wasn't
Just
mine.
like with Spider-Man on Family Guy.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Nobody ever does.
My final thought is, yeah, that one about Twitter will do. I have nothing to say.
Oh, my final thought. Wow, I am definitely going to try and tune into the live stream tomorrow. And definitely get a hold of, C. Musco and that dev go over the discipline system. Because it is, it is a major game changer that's coming up in a couple months. Yeah, December 9th. So I definitely want to get as much information as I can and how it's going to affect our classes. Because then I can start planning how to adjust for that. And especially for my multitude of alts, which I am leveling up. So hopefully it won't be too confusing, too painful to adjust to it. So,
well, my final thought is,
nobody cares what Buckeye wants.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
well, that's my more legit final thought. I actually purchased a copy of A New Dawn, and I've been reading it. I didn't go the audiobook route this time, Lou. I'm actually reading a physical book.
Ah, an actual physical book. Okay.
Oh, something I haven't done since I was but a wee Sith Lord. Beyond the Stars is an independently recorded fan podcast made in association with NSG Productions. And now it's time to say goodbye.
Good night, Twitch, YouTube, and iTunes.
Good night, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Take care. See you all again next time.
Good night, everybody. See you in 2 weeks.
You've served your purpose.
Beyond the Stars, trivia question for the week of October 6th, 2014. First clue. Ours was a world of lush and pristine rainforests. We made a collective vow to preserve it at all costs. Second clue. Instead, when we were capable, we built our homes in the skies, floating amongst the clouds. In time, our homes could travel between the stars. Third clue. Although we could speak basic, the galaxy found our language incredibly beautiful to hear, but difficult to learn. Fourth clue. Curious in nature, friendly and peaceful to others, we were often merchants and traders in the galaxy. Fifth and final clue. We revered nature and respected all living things. As such, only 3 of our planet's continents have ever been explored. Who or what am I? Remember, everyone, please send your response to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. With your answer, please include your character name, what faction you're on, the faction you play with. Did I mention that? What server you're on. All right. So, good luck, everyone.